You know right, assassini, airport and Timaya, Mojana Nanum Shegu Edigu on my yay.
It's here for Mimobi Akwaba eba Melodies TV so. And there yebeko school. And there yebeko school. Mesre article na me babe with their tremono in here pa because the biggest story in the country today Ashanti Regional National Security Coordinator Delta Force for allegedly ekochino edi ebu etio ebubo ni trim ne yakayaka dia ende adane nsemo a enkrofo etre wo madwen. A lot of politicians are speaking on this particular issue. Maybe a noble bremo later, but you see this particular broadcast I'm doing I am not in a way supporting Delta Force for because I've spoken on it extensively. Matre said Delta Force for I may support you, but there is a lesson in this broadcast I'm about to do, and they say nipa se wuchasa ekoba eba beto ana oye bibia ekoba baba beto eno na broni eka wo fe ne karma say karma is real. Now we'll read an article from 2008. Masa nhwehwemu amakwakoye na enye easy. We'll read an article as far as 2008. Here kasi here 2008. I think it's 13 years ni. I think so. 13 years ago. So 13 years ago no. So time na I think say I mean technically na Kufuor was still the president. Technically, Kufuor was still the president. Na, I think it was December her side. Name say runoff a course then between Atamils and a Kufuor. Na, it's here for Yanko story nim. Na, let me give you a brief answer. You better to subscribe and click the notification bell on the so. Oh yeah, the latest news biaba wonsa ebeka. We have a new YouTube channel. Link no ewo comment box nemo. Click it. Na subscribe mo complain say yenfa videos into channel way so no ye the video set to sa channel ne so this is a story by Atukwame Nadazi is a seasoned journalist in this country. Now as far back as 2008 and otro article way na answer na meko article ni mu no nini na NSA etu trasem BC between a year Rollins ne cameraman and the Ekufuor bodyguard. Now that same day, Rollins bodyguard and so assembly. Now you notice how the police handled the case. Now that time not only cry were ye police penny ewo kumase assembly si wo kumase. That time not only cry were ye police penny ewo kumase no ende the retired DCOP Opare Ado say Delta Force for yakayaka dear no. Now how he handled that case no, we'll read the article and then you'll see. Interna me mama tias say, mo tie me mu hold the public office. Mu ye police for mu hu say how you handle issues today. It to me koba e twa ne ho one day bi ebeba ba beto. Let's go into the story. I say as the nation prepares for the presidential runoff, we 2008 makatremo. As the nation prepares for the presidential runoff later this month, everyone realizes that the stakes are even higher now than they were 2 weeks ago, and as a result, tempers tend to fly much more easily. I said, but we need all the calm we can get. That is why the 2 incidents in Kumasi over the weekend, both involving former President Jerry John Rawlings and played out like scenes from a mafia movie, give cause for concern. Na waka say yadie bia sa time no na run of air baso into 2 incidents BC wo Kumasi Rawlings ene Ekufuor na yadie bia it gives cause for concern. Now I see in the first case Mr. Rawlings's cameraman was trounced in the lobby of the Golden Tulip Hotel by men suspected to be Nana Dankwa Nana Ekufuor security guards. The cameraman claims that the thugs pounced on him and gave him a sound beating while smashing his camera to smithereens. His crime was that he had tried to take pictures of Nana Addo without the candidate's consent. Now, was he cameraman? Rollins, JJ Rollins, ne cameraman. Will Golden Tulip. And at least we could a picture. Will Golden Tulip. Na okocha picture na that time Nana Addo ni security guards. Wamochi Rollins ne cameraman no Emma wamo bono. Essay ne camera. That was the first incident. 2008 and same we see here Ekufuado bodyguards Echi Rollins cameraman bono say in the camera same one isi. Now I say with the assault on the cameraman still fresh on his mind, Mr. Rollins and his wife went to the Menchia Palace to participate in the Akwesidai commemorations. There his bodyguard is alleged to have pulled out a pistol, scaring the pants off most of the guests at the event. This, according to some reports, was after a very partisan crowd had hooted and jeered Mr. Rollins, touting him with the MPP's kangaroo dance. That time, na MPP asa one more year campaign kangaroo. Mokaya 2008. That time na Ghana African Cup. Omo shego krana kangaroo dance. Aha. Now the scene say that same day, Rollins the cameraman Yakobono. Ewo Golden Tulip no that same day na Rollins ne yere Menchia Palace and you say Rollins bodyguard twintio wo ho ma nkrofo bohu because emdra na Rollins eba no na nkrofo egu ho a wo mu ehuro no ene mu huro na ho nti no yebu Rollins ne cameraman na that day ne yebu ne cameraman no eyade na ahye no nti ne bodyguard nso twintio Menchia ho ma nkrofo ebufuye nti ye two incidents esiye. Two incidents are here. Now, let's go into how the police handled these two incidents. Now, I say details are patchy, but reports suggest that at one point, when the jeering crowd appeared to be closing in on the former president and his entourage, his bodyguard, ostensibly at his wits' end, pulled out the weapon to protect his master. In the ensuing melee, melee, however they pronounce that word, police and security officers pounced on him, seized his gun, and in the process gave him a few generous slaps. Yes, send an uncle for Etia Rollins and the Muro Neno, now one more bar Rollins so into a more band sono and a cameraman you to scare or more mobile Rollins sono. You see, they see and they say police for Eche Rollins, Mr. Rollins cameraman, Rollins bodyguard. They see and say police for Eche Rollins ne bodyguard and our mobile born assume esansu ji nitio efri ninsem. So that is how the police handled Rollins ne bodyguard no etio na wokotwe no. Now was it on the first incident, the ruling MPP presents an alternative narration, and on the second, the NDC would like us to believe the story as has been told in the newspapers, has been twisted to cast the opposition party in bad light. I said the propaganda was already underway, and in the next few days, the two parties will continue to spin their versions on these two incidents, which happened within a space of just about 6 to 10 hours. They will both claim to be the victim and accuse the other of being the monstrous villain. In the story, I can say 2008. Sa and some way see both NDC and MPP were more press conference. Was at the year politics. NDC kasa was and MPP and no my way. MPP so kasa was and NDC and no my way. Into now will be at the play politics. After lende asemsi asa. I say, but for Nana Addo Danko Ekufuado, and but for Nana Ekufuado, especially, this is not good. For a man who prides himself in being a strong advocate for human rights, the accusation that he looked on unconcerned as his bodyguards beat up a poor cameraman doesn't exactly add an extra shine to his reputation. You may say that for JJ Rollins, the incident involving his bodyguard is almost in keeping with his reputation as a violent dictator who never misses an opportunity to brandish a gun. but he has nothing to lose. Now, the background of true story no back then, as someone can say, so 2 incidents, one no one say for Nanado no, ebe say Nanado din. Because Nanado Yobia was a human rights lawyer, advocate for human rights. Inti say, wotena ho air send the bodyguards, bo Rollins, ne cameraman. Na Nanado anya hwe ya nka ntre ne bodyguards and say wo munjai no. Nkrofo beka say and the papa yi de. But Rollins there, omo anim say Rollins ne there na tutura sem, especially baby ade ne si ye Kumase no. Ye kan ye say Rollins there bonsam it you know there ye nim ne da. Into uko kan kra na. Oh, masa, and say anything because Rollins na ya say anything da. That is this paragraph and the pakone kan no, that is the explanation. Or say if the NDC wins the propaganda war over the assault on the cameraman, Nana could be electorally bruised. Mr. Rollins and the NDC have sensed that they may have the upper hand, and this could explain their threat to sue Nanado, his bodyguards, and the police for assault. Now, I say Rollins and the NDC for your margin say Nakombe sue Nanado, the bodyguards no, any police for handling the cameraman. The issue. Obi baby say by Melodies, you spoke on how the police handled Rollins, ne bodyguard no. So how did the police also handle Nanado bodyguards no? Because omonso allegedly no, womo bo cameraman, no more bo cameraman, na police for ho. Let's go into how the police handled it. Now, I say for me, for me, the most important thing is not to try to sweep the incident under the carpet and pretend it didn't happen. The so-called big men should see this as an opportunity to reorient their security men and make it clear to them that in the democratic society we are building for ourselves, the wanton use of brute force is not an option. Now, I want to go and take how the police handled the case. I also take exception to the way police handled the assault on the cameraman. I have already told you how the police handled JJ Rollins ne bodyguard no. Che bodyguard no ebonasum per the story 2008. Rollins bodyguard ekotwe etio because o hwese na nkrofo eba Rollins so. 1-2 tio no. But police for Che Rollins bodyguard no ebonasum esizi netio no. Now, Nana Akufo-Addo nso Rollins cameraman Nana Akufo-Addo bodyguards Che Rollins that same day. Womo Che Rollins ne cameraman and a womo bo no. How did the police handle it? This is it. I say, shortly after the cameraman was beaten, the Ashanti Regional Police Commander Ayensu Opare-Addo was declaring on radio that the victim of the assault could be charged with breaching the public peace. All this while, the guy was in police cells, not in a hospital, where he could have been taken for some pills and stitches. A few hours later, Mr. Opare-Addo was once again heard on radio announcing that the cameraman had been granted bail. Pressed to explain why he was detained, the police commander insisted that the cameraman had not been arrested but was only kept in custody for his own safety. What the story is saying, they say, Nanado bodyguards allegedly were mobile Rollins cameraman. No. Police for Mo esanso kwachi Rollins ne cameraman ni mom. Ede no kwa tumu. Police for car say Rollins cameraman ni mom. What disturbing the peace? Obi ayabunu no. Yes, you are not disturbing the peace, public peace. Inti ye the neighbor court for public peace. Ye be granting the bail. Ghana for kasa say eba ne say na cameraman mo a. Cameraman no mo cameraman ayabunu. Mo police for mo chino. Ansa na police no eba be kan say cameraman no ye sheda chi no betu mu because ni empese nkrofo bebo no. Nti ye sheda de. Nti umpese obi bebu obi a obechi na akọ police station akọ no. Na ena meka no oni kra na wo kan same way ni na wo kan say ye besu no samuti ni din Ayensu Opare-Addo eyo no anende Delta Force for ekwakochi na allegedly wo mudi etio ebobo no wo mo pese wo mutu ne free ade so ende wonam radio so eka and your Delta Force for hear me say, or mu hear me say no. So you see, in 2008, 2 security issues when he was the commander, the Ashanti Regional Police Command. There's a Ashanti Regional, no na where police penny ewo. When 2 issues happened between the MPP and the NDC, you saw how this man handled it. Munyamu who said ya will handle in semno. And then when who de akwe chia chin ya ono ankasa ye de aba be ye no. It tells you something. Say your ma opposition or your security personnel ni your ma post your ma opposition kesi a hwene ye say sa post na ye de ama no udi be di ne kre. Say one friend di ne kre one day e bi beto 13 years on won de papa no ye de aba be ye no. I am not in this particular broadcast saying say the a Delta Force for the year allegedly a year. I am not saying that, but I am just painting the picture to tell you. So well, karma is real. Won't you watch your comment box anymore? But I say.